Hey everybody, Rob here. It's time for a few new malicious compliance stories. First one, what a great idea. I'll do just that. A malicious compliance golf story. Let's jump right in. Hit that subscribe button so I can actually feel like I have friends. Wait, what? Hello again, friends. It's time for a golf story. If you are here for some sort of cosmic karma kick, you may want to move on. This story is idiots doing all they can to annoy other idiots. So my mates and I are out for a spot of golf, or as we call it, drinking and walking in a field with balls. Now, if you know anything about golf, you know that in some folks, it awakens their inner rage demon, as is the case with my friend Bill, whose name has been changed for some reason, don't know why, you'll never find him. So anyways, about hole 10, Bill is getting quite frustrated, mostly because of his putting game, and maybe due to the fact that the rest of us were treating putters as some form of second coming. Have you heard of the great white ball in the sky Lord Puttington will teach you of his glory, while using them to putt from 20 meters off the green? So I have just nailed a monster of a putt, about 10 meters give or take, 30 feet for you freedom savages out there, and having nailed said putt, proceed in giving thanks to Lord Puttington and the great white ball. Now Bill is not happy and finally just loses it. You know you don't have to f***ing putt from 50 meters out, right? You know that's not true, Bill. Lord Puttington demands sacrifice. Well, if you enjoy putting so much, why don't you just putt the whole damn hole? Now, keen-eyed readers will have instantly detected this subtle display of foreshadowing. After several more charming expletives from Bill, we move to the next hole, which turns out is a par 5, 500 meters give or take. Now Bill tees up and drives, gets a ton of topspin, and goes straight to ground, rolling about the 100-meter mark. Alright, well, that was straight at least. Who's up next? That would be I. Lads, hold my beer. I reach out for my driver, and like a message from the great white ball itself, it hits me. I look up, making dead eye contact with Bill. My hand begins to drift. Don't you f***ing dare. My hand, as if controlled by a higher power, lands on the only club for the job, the best club to have when teeing off from a par 5. My hand finds Lord Puttington. I tee up, look Bill dead in the eye, and simply state, you asked for this, the great white ball has provided. F*** you. Buy me dinner first. I then wind up and collect that ball with the full force of Lord Puttington's might, launching it down the fairway and sailing completely flat, landing and rolling to stop 20 meters beyond Bill's ball. Praise his name. He is the bringer of the tailwind, the great white ball. God f***ing damn it. My friends and I proceeded to finish out the day exclusively using our putters. Bill continued to resist until hole 15, when he was finally converted and joined the family of the great white ball in the shade beneath the flag. I then proceeded to lose the day by a single stroke and immediately abandoned my new god for his betrayal. The end. I don't play golf in real life, even though my dad has tried to get me out many times. I do, however, play golf on the computer, and I don't think I've ever sworn at my computer as much as I do when I'm playing that game. On to our next story. You want me to go to work on that other project immediately? Sure thing, boss. So I'm a software developer at a large 1,500-ish employees company. My official position is a software developer, but since I've got quite a bit of experience and a somewhat non-standard skill set for this position, I've worked as a Linux admin and a DevOps engineer for around 2 years. I often get asked to do other things than just write code. I absolutely don't have a problem with that, and even quite enjoy doing other things from time to time to break the monotony. Or rather, I did until one of the higher-up managers noticed my particular skill set and started asking me to help out on other projects that were short on people. At first, I didn't really mind, but eventually it evolved into a situation where I would be reassigned to a different project every single week. A project change, for me, would mean downloading all their code, setting up the whole build and development environment, getting familiar with said project, and then finally being able to do some work. This would usually take at least a day. I have tried talking to many different managers to try and do something about this because it was starting to affect my performance reviews to no avail. Some of them would tell me they will look into it, others wouldn't even bother to reply to my emails, and that's where I got really fed up. Now, our project teams usually sit together. We have multiple large open space offices and a few smaller ones with just a few people. I'm one of the lucky ones who gets to sit in one of the small ones, and I usually wouldn't physically move for these team changes because then I would be moving every single week. On a Monday morning, as usual, I got an email basically saying this: "You're needed on project XYZ immediately. Go over there to help as soon as you can." The immediately and go over there parts are where they made a fatal mistake. I've always been one not to take shit from anyone, and malicious compliance is my default, so I immediately took the hint and did exactly what I've been asked to do. I stopped working on my current project immediately. This will be very relevant later, and even though I usually wouldn't have done this, I decided to physically move to the team I've been reassigned to. So for the rest of the day, I've made a big spectacle of trying to move my entire workspace closer to that new project team, making sure to only carry one thing at a time as not to injure myself, to an office on a different floor and the other side of the building. The next morning, I just started working on the new project like nothing happened. Well, fast forward 3 weeks, the project I've been taken off has had huge delays and missed multiple client deadlines. Because of that thing I haven't been allowed to finish. In this industry, missing a client deadline means huge fines from both the client and sometimes also relevant government regulators. Managers started to reply to my emails and try to be much more careful with how they word their requests. I haven't been asked to switch projects for 3 weeks now. I'm not worried about getting fired. I've been looking for something new for quite a while now. Well, you did exactly what you were told. I see absolutely no problem with that. Well done, OP. On to our next story. Can't work remotely? Guess it's vacation or sick leave then. As you can imagine, a lot of companies are figuring out how to manage remote staff right now in response to the issue happening in the world. I am a social media manager for a large university and am considered essential staff for some instances. If there's a snow day, I can work from home but need to monitor social channels for questions, problems, etc. Weeks before the virus got as widespread as it is now in the US, I asked my supervisor to consider remote options as my husband and I had been keeping a close look at its progression abroad, and he has an autoimmune disease. But I was literally laughed at and told it would never happen. Last week, our university announced that they'd be shifting to online learning for 3 weeks. I again asked if we'd be given remote options at this time as well to help flatten the curve. And given that my job can be done literally anywhere, it shouldn't be a problem. I again was told nope. As essential staff, I'd absolutely have to come in, and more details would be given in an HR email later that day. HR email comes in and affirms that all staff were expected to come in as normal, about 4,000 employees. And if you wanted to take time at home, you'd need to take personal, vacation, or sick time. Staff could call or email HR and make individual cases to request remote work. But I'm in the state with the 4th highest cases of this issue happening in the world right now. And we all know college campuses are cesspools for disease, so staff is livid. The next day, I emailed my supervisor again and told them that I called and emailed HR saying that if I don't get approval for remote work, I'm gonna follow email protocol and take sick leave for the foreseeable future. Luckily, I am in a union and can request up to 26 weeks of 100% paid sick leave for myself or caring for family. And I knew it would get approved. I said the ball was in their court and they could either have me at home actually working or have me at home and be down an essential staff member. Silence. In the meantime, I got a phone call back from HR from a frantic employee who said they'd received literally thousands of emails and phone calls similar to the one I sent, and I could expect an update by the end of day. Turned out I was not the only one threatening their bosses with time off. At 5 p.m., we got an email that all staff and classes are remote until further notice. I know it's likely they would have eventually made this call anyway, but I'd like to think the thousands of employees threatening malicious compliance made it happen sooner. OP is extremely lucky that in the end they had the option to work from home. There are a lot of people out there right now who are losing their jobs and just don't have any other option. Let's hope this worldwide issue wraps up fairly quickly and everybody can get back to some semblance of a normal life. I want to thank all 3 OPs for posting their stories to the Malicious Compliance subreddit. You can visit them at the links in the description below. Please go there and give them an upvote. Once again, this is Rob from Karma Comment Chameleon saying thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and share it with your friends, and we'll see you in the next one.